All right.
Nice to be here, Lucas.
Isn't it?
Lucas, you any relation to George?
No, but
Too bad.
I have written for StarWars.com, and let me tell you, heard that one before.
I'll bet. Hey, who is that masked man?
Oh, no.
I know that guy.
Uh-oh.
That would be Pinky and Yakko and so many other voices.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's 2016,
I
and
know.
people are talking about Animaniacs.
So we must have done a good job. What can I say? We wrote that show. We thought that was a good show. We moved on. We've all done dozens of shows since then. I'm running a show now, and Animaniacs has this incredible audience.
Yeah.
And so, at Rob's suggestion, because he does a lot of personal appearances, and he says, "Hey, they always ask me to sing those songs," we went up and did a live performance at the piano of him and me singing the songs, and the fans flocked to it. So we did it some more and more, and then we've been doing it around the country. We brought Jess and Tress in until we finally did it with the Colorado Symphony Orchestra, with an 87-piece symphony orchestra, the big screen and animation, all of it done live. Everyone went crazy. So Warner Brothers said, "Okay, we're going to license this." So they got behind it. We had to get Steven Spielberg. It was his show too. So he's given his permission. So this is the kickoff. We're going to be performing with live symphony orchestras. It's a beautiful 2-hour show with nothing but fun songs. And these guys are such incredibly gifted actors, and they riff with the audience. They just go crazy, with the audience. So it's a very funny show. And we've got the live, and we got the animation, the live music, the live performances. And one of the unique things about it is, as opposed to something like Bugs on Broadway that you've seen, right, is you actually have the original people who did those voices, and I'll be at the piano, the guy who wrote the songs, and the orchestras that we play with, Lucas, are even bigger than the orchestras, the Warner Brothers orchestra that we recorded in the soundstage. Yeah. In fact, we had all those orchestrations.
That has to be a trip for you.
Oh, it's a real trip for me. And it's we had all those orchestrations redone for the bigger orchestras. Nice. So it's really cool. When it happens, in fact, Jean McCurdy, who was the president of Warner Animation at the time, she's lives up in San Francisco now. We did the show up there, and she came. We introduced her, and it was funny because after the show, she came back and she said, "Wow, this is a really good show." I go, "You say that like you didn't think it would be." She goes, "Well, I didn't know." Well, it's a lot. She says, "This one's like on stage with all the animation together." I said, "Yeah." So it's one of those lightning in a bottle, Lucas. It's just a terrific show, and audiences go crazy for it.
What's it like seeing the fan reaction to the announcement of the tour and to Animaniacs being on Netflix, and people rewatching it, discovering it for the first time now, all these years later, and still loving it?
I know, and seeing, they were kids there. They're all adults now in their 30s and bringing their kids. But what was really surprising to me is, the level of the fan base. And also, you have to say, unlike Rob and Jess and Tress, I'm a writer, producer, and I'm a composer. So I represent like the animators and artists and those people. We sit in a room at a studio doing what we do, writing, creating, but we don't normally get out in front of the audience, so we never get to see how the audience responds. And so doing this tour, to answer your question, has been a real treat for me to see the audiences going crazy and wild for these songs and the show. You go, "Oh, good, I get to see the reaction to the stuff that we did." And we had a great team in place. The people who, we had Tom Ruger produced it. I should give a shout out to the people who, Paul Rugg, John McCann, Sherry Stoner. Actually, I don't want to miss anybody. The great writers that were on that show. Peter Hastings. Peter Hastings really was behind Pinky and the Brain. He wrote most of those Pinky and the Brain. Brilliant guy.
And I understand there's some updates. Is there any new content, brand new for this?
Well, that would be a question for Warner Brothers.
Fair enough. And what is it that you're working on right now?
Personally, I run a television show called 1001 Nights, and it's in its third season. Although last year I was on staff over at Disney with Tom writing on the 7D. I wrote on the second season of that, and then I write working on musicals for stage. So
awesome.
but this is really a treat for me because all I got to do is show up and play and sing. I don't have to write anything. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, real pleasure to meet you.
Real pleasure as well.
Come see Animaniacs live.
I can't wait.